Hey friends, it's Allison here, jumping in real quick before you get into all the juicy details of today's episode. Did you know there is just one more week left to our 200th episode giveaway where you have the chance to win a full ride scholarship to the Better Belly Blueprint? This is the way to heal your gut so that you can poop daily, ditch acid reflux, and balance your hormones even when nothing else has worked. Here's how you can enter. Leave a rating and review on the Better Belly podcast on Apple Podcast or Spotify between now and May 29th. Take a screenshot of that rating and review, then go to betterbellytherapies.com/giveaway and fill out our 200th episode giveaway form. You will automatically receive an email with a code for $200 off the Better Belly Blueprint, which you're going to get as soon as you send in that form. And then a full scholarship winner is going to be announced on May 30th and messaged by email. If you win, you're going to win a full scholarship to the Better Belly Blueprint. And if you don't win, you can still get $200 off, which is 20% off of the Better Belly Blueprint if you join by May 31st at midnight. So go ahead and leave a rating and review. Get that giveaway form filled out at betterbellytherapies.com/giveaway, and you can finally end your constipation, acid reflux, and PMS for good. For the last 3 years, the Better Belly podcast has put its sole focus on creating episodes around bloating, constipation, and associated gut health problems. But today, I'm making an announcement that this is all going to change. What has caused this change? What does it mean for future podcast episodes? And how can you still get amazing constipation resources to heal your bloating and constipation for good? I'm going over all this and more in today's episode. Whether you're a longtime listener or completely new to the podcast, listen in to learn all about the free resources you can get on constipation, along with all the new resources and episodes we'll be making in the future. You are at the center of this podcast and everything we create inside it. So come and be a part of the exciting new changes. Hey friend, welcome to the Better Belly podcast. Do you want freedom from bloating and constipation? Do you find yourself up late at night Googling natural constipation remedies, causes for bloating, or recipes and exercises to help constipation? Are you frustrated with the mind game of trying to figure out what foods are helping or hurting your gut? Hey, I'm Allison, mom, wife, and functional gut health practitioner. At a young age, bloating and constipation were my constants. I didn't know what to do and wished I could just live a normal life focusing on my passions, my job, and my family. I was tired of abdominal pain that woke me up at night and wasting time and money on gut health remedies that just didn't work. Breakthrough moment, the functional medicine and osteopathic approach to gut health. In this podcast, you will find natural remedies for bloating and constipation, practical, doable belly exercises and massages, and debunk the myths about what really is causing your tummy problems. So toss out those laxatives and say goodbye to that embarrassing gas. Your gut health is calling. And just as a reminder, this information is not meant to diagnose, manage, or treat disease. Always consult with your own health practitioner before you make any changes to your health. All right, so it is time for our big announcement. And I didn't want to share the exact announcement details in the intro just because I don't want there to be any panic and just be able to start talking right away about what is going to change. And the change is that the Better Belly podcast is no longer going to be a constipation podcast only anymore, meaning we are going to make an intentional shift from talking about just bloating and constipation or primarily things related to the gut and start to broaden it very intentionally. So, couple questions that I feel like you might be wondering immediately. Is the name going to change of the podcast? No, the name is not going to change. And yes, we're still going to talk about gut health. Bloating and constipation are still near and dear to my heart. They're a problem that I love solving, but we've pretty much solved it. And I don't mean that if you're new to the podcast, you might think you're a crazy lady for saying that. But we have 100 plus episodes that are mostly dedicated to bloating, constipation, acid reflux, diarrhea, just everything that can happen in the gut. And I don't have too much more to say on it. We have codified our solution inside of my Better Belly Blueprint, which is my program that takes you through our Better Belly method to heal your gut without needing to be on lifelong extreme food restrictions or lifelong supplements. And our clients get 80% improvement in their symptoms in 3 to 6 months on average. That is amazing. So if you are looking for a solution, come join us in the Better Belly Blueprint. Or if you're really new here and you're like, I don't know if I want to join the Blueprint, what is that thing and what's inside of it? We have all these episodes before today's episode that are very focused on gut health problems. And as a part of celebrating that history and also giving you a free tool so that you can heal and find those episodes as easily as possible, one of the free resources I'm announcing today is our Better Belly Podcast Vault. This is a super simple spreadsheet where we've taken all of our current episodes and organize them by category, by topic. So you can go into the spreadsheet and we have different organizational tools in there where you can search a word using the search finder. If you know how to do that in a podcast or in a spreadsheet, you can use also these color-coded organizing methods where we've taken all of our episodes, instead of putting them in numerical order, we've put them in category order. So, and then we put links in there, so it's super easy to just go straight from the spreadsheet to listening to the podcast. And it is an amazing resource. So we are calling it the Podcast Vault. And if you want access to this free resource, just go to betterbellytherapies.com/get-the-vault. Those are dashes between get the vault, get-the-vault. betterbellytherapies.com/get-the-vault. Or click the link in the show notes and you can get access to that vault. The cool thing is that this vault is through Google. Again, whether or not you use it doesn't matter. But if you have this link, just save the link in your bookmarks, in a note to yourself, and you can literally open up that vault. And every single month, we update our podcast, that vault, that spreadsheet with the 4 podcast episodes that got released the previous month. So you never get lost and you will always have the most updated and up-to-date podcast episodes in the spreadsheet. Just keep the link. You don't have to download anything. You don't have to print anything, although you can if you want to. So that is number one, is just nothing. Our name's not changing, but we're going to be slowly changing things like our podcast intro, which I didn't change for today yet. We did a lot of work. I was doing a lot of work prepping the podcast vault. And I want to make sure that when we re-record our podcast intro, that it really contains the entire heart of what we want for the podcast moving forward, which we are, like, I know a lot of what I want inside of it, but it was not ready for release today. We're also going to be changing things like our podcast description, things that you may or may not notice, but we really are going to be shifting our language, both around the podcast as well around the Better Belly Blueprint, which actually gets me to, why did I even make this change? And the main reason is because you guys, our listeners, are experiencing all of these problems that we're going to be diving into. Maybe not every single one of you is experiencing all of these problems, but most of you listening don't just have gut health problems. And this became excessively obvious when I launched the Better Belly Blueprint last year. And I've already mentioned the Better Belly Blueprint is our signature method to help our clients reduce their top symptoms by 80% in 3 to 6 months without crazy diet restrictions the rest of their life or supplements that are super expensive and don't actually make you feel better, right? But as we were launching the Blueprint, people would hear our episodes and consider joining the Blueprint, but then they would not join the Blueprint because they would feel like the Blueprint was talking primarily about bloating and constipation, or they felt like our podcast primarily talked about bloating and constipation, and they weren't sure if that solution was for them. While that totally made sense, it also broke my heart a little because I felt like I wasn't doing justice to explaining how the Better Belly Blueprint works and why it can affect so many things and honestly heal your entire body. We've had people go through the Better Belly Blueprint and heal eczema, insomnia, anxiety, depression, lose weight, which everybody loves that when that happens to them, without really, like, no calorie restriction or calorie watching, no nothing fancy like that, just eating as much as you want, but healing your body from the inside out at a deeper root level than any alternative provider or doctor has done with you before. And I say that because the people who work with us typically are the people who've already tried, probably like yourself, have already tried so many other people. You've tried nutritionists and diet changes and chiropractors and functional medicine people, and they are not hitting the mark. And we have discovered what that mark is that they're not hitting, partly because I went through that too. I figured out what they weren't doing, and then I put it all inside of the Better Belly Blueprint. If you're listening to this and you're like, I want to join now, please let me change my life, go to betterbellytherapies.com/blueprint or click our link in the show notes and you can join today. Doors are open. There's no wait list. Please join now. But going back to the change in our topics in the podcast was because of the Better Belly Blueprint and the fact that people were healing things all over their bodies. They were helping PCOS, endometriosis, PMS, hormone imbalance, headaches and migraines. I'm trying to think, I didn't write all this stuff down. So many things that people have helped. Sinus problems, again, any type of skin problem, acne, eczema, rashes, they've helped with the Better Belly Blueprint. And so I wanted the podcast to start reflecting that, as well as things like our website, because that will help give you guys the confidence that this is the solution for you. So let's start talking about getting back to the future. What's going to happen next? And yes, that was a pun based on movies. You know who you are if you understand that. What's going to happen to the podcast next is we're going to start deep diving into topics that people don't typically associate with gut health, or that we haven't just done as much on the podcast. And so some of them that I've written down here that are on my short list to start addressing is ADHD, anxiety, PCOS, endometriosis, PMS, shame and guilt around health, which I have had the most fascinating verbal conversations with friends about this. I'm not sure exactly how much demand there is for people to read about it, but the shame and guilt problem that keeps people from taking steps forward, or just haunts us as we try to do anything new in our health, is something I'm very passionate about, and I've seen major healing in myself and my clients, and it's been really awesome, and I want to share more about that. But shame and guilt around health, I'm not going to try and become Brené Brown, I promise, but I do have a couple specific points I want to be making on that and sharing with you guys. And honestly, just a lot of mom stuff. So like postnatal depletion, which I already have a new episode on. I believe that was exactly last week's episode. Yeah, last week's episode 186. We'll put a link in the show notes, but that is like starting to get at the fact that I want to serve moms more, partly because I am one, partly because I've got lots of friends who are ones, probably, and also a lot of our clients are moms, and we just need more content on how to be healthy as moms without feeling like we have to do it all. It just it infuriates me endlessly when I'm on Instagram and I see all these health influencers who are moms, but it's their full-time job to be health influencers, and they're doing all these things that are really, I know I'm not even doing. I'm not eating a full serving of vegetables every day even, which I actually did post on my Instagram. I don't work out every day. I don't wear cute workout clothes every day. But I do have things like clear skin, weight that stays the same right where I want it to be, good energy levels, and that's what I want moms to know, is they don't have to do everything right. There is a better way. And so I'm going to be really tackling that for moms specifically. Please, if you're excited, subscribe, follow. Honestly, I have a little symptom survey that I was going to tell you guys about to fill out if you are dealing with symptoms right now in your body. Just go to betterbellytherapies.com/2024. Tell me what symptoms you're dealing with. I have a huge list. You can add as many as you want as well to that list. And it's just a 2-question survey. You don't have to even give me your email, but it's going to give me an idea on what topics and what problems and what symptoms we're dealing with the most. So whatever I have the highest amount of content on, or the highest number of hits on for episodes we haven't created on yet. So if we have a lot of bloating, that's fine. We already have a lot of bloating episodes, but anything new, that's what I'm going to be creating content on. So go to betterbellytherapies.com/2024 or click the link in the show notes and tell me what symptoms you've been dealing with, whether you're a mom or not, but especially you moms. And I'm going to be creating content all around that. So this category is the one I am the most excited about, everything moms. I'm going to try to have some experts on who know a lot about different mom stuff. I want to get into ADHD and having ADHD and being moms. We're going to have an expert on for that. And women wanting to become moms, so fertility conversation, trying to conceive, all of that is going to be coming up this year, as well as some stuff like osteopenia, osteoporosis. We're going to start digging into more diagnoses that you might not normally think of. When you think Better Belly Blueprint, what can it heal? It can heal and help a lot. So basically, we're opening up the Better Belly podcast for all the random things I learn about when I was fixing the gut. And this all had to do with healing the whole body. So I haven't found anywhere to put it because the podcast has been so focused on the gut primarily. I kind of created episodes on like the gut skin connection, the gut sinus connection, but I really want a lot more freedom to give you guys the breadth of what I have and what is available to you for healing. So let's see, did I cover everything? You want to make sure that you get the podcast vault by going to betterbellytherapies.com/getthevault with dashes between. If you don't put any dashes because you forget, I also did make a link that works that way too. Yay. And you can tell us what symptoms you're dealing with by going to betterbellytherapies.com/2024. Again, the link will be in the show notes. And if you have symptoms you want to kick right now, bloating, constipation, brain fog, fatigue, diarrhea, eczema, headaches, migraines, I have a whole list of them on our Better Belly Blueprint webpage. Just go to betterbellytherapies.com/blueprint and you can check out the blueprint. I have a free video in there to show you exactly how the blueprint works. And I have a whole list of symptoms we've helped clients deal with. If you don't see the symptom you're dealing with, email us or DM me on Instagram and ask, and we'll let you know if we've helped it. High likelihood we have. And just join. There's no wait list. So betterbellytherapies.com/blueprint. Check it out. And when you're ready, you'll be able to join. There's 2 different ways to pay. There's 2 different options of level of intensity you can work with us. And it's all, when you join, it's all for lifetime access. You never get booted out from the support you get, our biweekly group coaching calls, our free Facebook group, not free, our private Facebook group, our entire video library catalog and protocols, which we do expand on occasion. Like I'm adding a new Lyme protocol into there soon. We're going to be adding some other protocols that are just going to help us continue dialing in on people's health and making sure everybody's finding all the root causes in their bodies. So you are no longer on unnecessary amounts of food restrictions and just generally feeling confused about your body. So that is it for our announcement today. Thank you so much for listening in. Again, if you're new, go ahead and start subscribing. Just go and subscribe to our podcast so you can get every single update on the episode coming up, and go check out our vault and just see everything in the past. We have 187 episodes now as of today, and you can save that link and get all of our updates to our podcast episodes categorized just for you, just by having that link. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, and I'll catch you guys next week. Hey friend, I hope you loved this episode. If you've been a fan for a while or newly loving this podcast, can you do me a favor? Drop into Apple Podcasts and leave me a review. When you leave a review, you do so much. You help me know you're listening. You can tell me what you're loving so I know what to make more of. And you help others by boosting this podcast so other people like you can find the podcast too. I mean, it's a win-win-win, right? So if you want a way to pay it forward, just go to Apple Podcasts or click the link in my show notes and leave a rating and review. And if you want some more free stuff, just head over to my free Facebook group, betterbellytherapies.com/Facebook, and you can get access to all of my free support for you, including some Facebook group exclusive stuff like my podcast episode vault, where you can search the Better Belly podcast by topic and find exactly what you need to expedite your healing. I cannot wait to see you in there. Catch you guys next week.